product designers often have the debate of, does a product need to solve a problem, or does it need to be purely aesthetic or beautiful or something like that? Because there are beautiful products out there that people pay money for, and they don't really necessarily solve a problem. A painting, a Van Gogh, does not solve a problem for anybody. That fulfills no daily issues that the rich people who buy those paintings have. But for some reason, there are products out there that do solve problems, and that's the fundamental driving factor that like investors will look at with your product if you're trying to build an app or a piece of hardware. So solving a problem is important, but I think there can be a broader context to that. Because even if you look at something that's very utilitarian in many ways, like the iPhone, the original iPhone. The original iPhone dropped your call all the times and was barely able to navigate the internet, and everybody loved it. It didn't necessarily solve problems. We had PDAs, we had the flip phones, all kinds of means of communication, but they were in disparate devices. The iPhone was able to combine those into a single device to where you had this interactive piece of technology that allowed you to love the action of those tasks, even though they were clunky and didn't work all the time, which was very frustrating. But it wasn't so much solving the problems as fulfilling a need, a need that nobody had. Because here's the deal, you can go all the way back to Henry Ford, where he said, if I was solving the problems, I would have built a faster horse. That's absolutely true. Solving problems alone creates a very linear sort of design process where you're like, well, we're going to optimize it 5% more. It doesn't create those step differences between using an abacus and using a computer. A better abacus will never compare to your desktop calculator. But that's not solving a problem. It's solving the same problem in a different way. What makes that one better doesn't exist until people actually see it. So you have to fulfill a need. And knowing what people need is different from solving their problems, because their needs are something that they may not understand themselves. We all have a need for entertainment. That's why the movie industry is as rich as it is, because so many people will spend $20 a week going to the theater for that experience. It doesn't help you survive, it doesn't feed you, it doesn't take care of health insurance or a roof over your head or anything else, but it fulfills a need inside of humans to relax and be entertained and escape our daily lives. Things like the iPhone also kind of do that too, the style, the fashion of it. But then the car compared to a horse, the original cars were joyrides, thrill-seeking machines that were impressive and fun to have. If you look at like an Elon Musk company, every one of his companies solves a very specific need, except electric cars. Electric cars fulfill no basic need to the customers, except your need to feel like you're contributing to the fight against global warming and the style of those cars. Tesla cars are trendy, but they don't fulfill a need of transportation. You can get a Prius to go do that and actually fulfill the same need, but the Prius is ugly. You could go get a Hummer to do that, but the Hummer doesn't make you feel as good because you're belching out gases all over the place. So it's so important when creating a product to make sure that you're not just clinically solving a very sterile problem, because people won't relate with that and they won't get it unless you're in, say, a manufacturing field where the only thing people care about are the extra 1% of efficiency, and they will take your product to solve that problem. But in consumer products, it's a much broader set of specs for what you need to create. You have to fulfill a need, emotional and functional. And this is why engineers are so often very bad at designing consumer products. And artists are also very bad at creating viable consumer products. That's why you have an orange slicer that is an orange juice maker squeezer that is beautiful, but you've only ever seen one of them in your whole life that some artist friend of yours happened to have. It's a product, sure, it's not a good product, but it is a beautiful product. And the inverse is true of a pencil. Although a pencil is a whole different kind of conversation.